Hi Geometry, this is a video of how to use your calculator to do trig. Notice all the work has been done on these three problems. So this is not a how to do trig. This is not teaching any of our lessons. This is simply after you do a problem, how do you put that into your calculator? So I've got the three types of work that we've been doing in our class. First of all, I have a number divided by our trig function. We're going to do a number times our trig function. And then finally, we're going to do an inverse trig function. So let's get out our calculators. You can fast forward to the different times that I use your calculator. I'm going to use a calculator. This is similar to the navy, the bright blue, white, green, pink calculators in our classroom. If you have one of the calculators with a white border or the dark calculator with the silver button, your calculator will work like this one. I'm also going to show how to do these calculations on this TI calculator, which works very much like any of the ones where you have to put the number in before you use the sine, cosine, tangent. And lastly, I will also show you how to do these calculations on your phone. You do need a scientific calculator for our class. Your phone is not a substitute for having a calculator that you learn how to use and can depend on in our class. So first of all, let's enter this. So whenever you do trig in our class, you do need to be in degree mode. Here's your degree button. If you find that you're getting weird answers from mine or your friends in class, double check that you're still in degree mode, that you haven't accidentally gone into radian mode. So on this calculator, let's enter it as we see it. It's 6 divide by. Now on this type, I'm going to touch sine first. When I do that, it opens a parenthesis and I insert the degrees, 33 degrees. You can close parenthesis or not. This particular calculation, you won't get an error because of a parenthesis. Hit equals and you'll see that our answer is 11.02. If you wrote 11.01, that answer is great as well. I'm not going to grade on rounding. Don't write 11. That answer would be wrong. Don't round to a whole number. So let's take a look at it on this calculator. On this calculator, I'm also going to begin with my 6 divide by. Now be careful, you do not want to touch sine. On this type of calculator, you enter the number first. So I'm going to enter the 33. Now I'm going to take the sine of 33 by touching sine. This is not your answer. It's not 11.02. This is simply the sine of 33 degrees. This is equal to 0.5446, blah, 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 blah. So now when I hit equals, it will now do the division. And so now I see my answer. What about if you want to use your phone? So in a pinch, if you'd like to use your phone, if you turn it sideways, you'll see that you see your trig function, sine, cosine, and tangent. Sorry, this isn't very clear. So there we go, sine, cosine, and tangent. This says radian, and that's fine. It means I'm actually in degree mode. If I click that, you'll see that pops up a rad for radians up here. So you want to make sure you're in degree mode, that you're going to see radian when you're in degree mode. By the way, if you need sine inverse, cosine inverse, or tangent inverse, you'll touch the second button right there. So now how do I enter it? This works exactly like the light gray calculator in all calculations. So I'm going to do my 6 divide by, and I have to put my 33 in first, and then I'm going to touch my sine. So remember, this is not your answer, but this is why the phone is not a great substitute. So watch when I hit equals once. That is my answer. If you're not paying close attention though, and you hit equals again, you get a different answer, and that will continue to happen. So you got to be careful when you're using your phone. I don't recommend this for doing your homework in our class. Also, because if you get any notifications, it's going to distract you from the work you're doing. I really feel like a calculator's a better option. So let's continue with problem 2. Problem 2 is the type of problem that I'm going to multiply to find my answer. So going back to this type of calculator, you just enter it exactly like you see it, 12 sine, remember we're going to do the sine first, so it's 12 times sine. Can you insert a time symbol? Sure, but it's not necessary in order to do this problem correctly. And put your 54 degrees inside, and you could close parentheses or not. You will not get an error on this type of problem. And I see that my answer is approximately 9.7. This answer could be written as 9.701. You could also write 9. Oh, sorry, I meant to say, if you wanted to round that zero, 9.708, if you want to write the whole thing. Or you could round that to 9.71. Any of these three answers are great for me. I'm not going to grade you on your rounding. Don't write it as 10. Don't round to a whole number like that, because that's not correct. Okay, how about this calculator? When I'm using this calculator, I normally do the trig function first, just fewer keystrokes. You could do 12 times if you wanted to, but I'm going to do the sine of 54 first. So remember, on this calculator, you put the degrees in first. I'm going to tell it to do sine, and then I'm going to multiply by 12, and I get the same 9.008. If you're concerned you're in degree mode on this calculator, it's up here at the top. You can see I just changed it to radians. Click again, I get my radians, and then go back to your degrees. Okay, so let's take a look at using our inverse trig functions. Again, this isn't how to do the problems, it's how to use my calculator. So in this problem, I've already done all the work, and I find that I'm taking the sine inverse of 7 divided by 10.6. So if I was on this particular calculator, I would punch in my sine inverse first. Notice it's up above my trig functions in light blue. So I'm going to use the light blue button, the second button, to get to the up above. And when I touch sine, I see my sine inverse on the screen. So inside the parentheses, I want to do 7 divided by 10.6. And I get 41.32 degrees. You could write that as 41.33 degrees if you want to round, or if you just want to write 41.3 degrees. Again, these are all the same answer. Don't round it to 41 degrees. Even if the problem says nearest degree, I'm fine with decimals. So how about this calculator? So again, on this one, you have to enter the number first before the sine inverse. This is the one type of problem I see the most mistakes with, so be very, very careful. Here's what happens. I need to enter this number, the entire number in my parentheses. So do your 7 divided by 10.6. Now be very, very careful. This is where the mistake happens on this type of calculator. You have to hit equals. The reason why you have to hit equals is you want to know what number is inside the parenthesis. That number is 0.66037, blah, 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 blah. So you have to remember to do your division. And then to get to sine inverse, notice it's light green above the sine. So you're going to touch the light green second button and then sine, and it's going to take my sine inverse. And I get the same 41.3 degrees that I had before. On your phone, it works exactly like this particular calculator. You have to do the entire fraction first, and then you can do your sine inverse. Thank you very much. I hope this was a helpful reminder of how to use your calculator to do these problems.